Okay, back on this today for the next episode. Keep on going, got to keep plugging. I'm going to get this finished this year, that's for sure. Now the next obvious step is to put the strut at the front, to mount the front half of the thing onto, and then I've got two solid strut support right across that I can then bring fasteners off the structure underneath and bolt it down. Once it's bolted down, then I can see the shape and exact angle I want it, and I know exactly where it's going to sit on the bike, fixed and permanent, and I can trim it side to side and get the symmetry absolutely perfect. And then at that point also I can finish the filler and get everything perfect, but I can't do any of that till it's mounted on the bike. And like I said, the front bit is the next bit. Now that's up against the back of the tank. The tank has always been held in the right place when I've marked things and take them off, but today I'm going to bolt it down into the correct place so that I know exactly where to drill the holes and everything else on that structure that I built. So I haven't bolted that tank down for something like a year and a half since I took all the rubbers out of it to start painting it. So I've got to find the rubbers, put them back in, the little mount rubbers and the bolts, and physically bolt the tank onto the bike so it's fixed in its proper position where it's going to sit. Then I'll know exactly where that tail has to sit in relation to it at the back, etc. Anyway, that's verbal. You want to see visual, so let's shut up, get stuck in. Welcome back. It's not so light anymore. Now all these, I just kept them all, when I took them out, just chucked them in a box. I could have possibly put them in a bag with the labels to what they were. If you're going to have a bike off the road for a long time, that's wise to do, but I knew I was going to replace all these and I'll buy them on spec, so there's no point in labelling them up because they're not going back on the bike. When I come to mount this and put it all together as a final build, because they're perished and a bit cracked, 20 odd years old, and they're also just a little bit stretched and worn, I'll get 4 new ones on spec, like I said, meaning that I'll go to the dealer and say I want 2 rear tank rubbers, 2 front tank rubbers, etc., and they'll come sending the exact ones in bags ready to bolt on. So I won't need to worry about what these are. Today I just need to bung them through and make sure that when this is bolted down, it's bolted down in the exact place it's going to be, so that that rear seat unit is in orientation to it, it's correct. That makes sense. Right, there we are. That shows that the measuring on this at the back was all correct. It absolutely lined up first time. Measured twice, cut once, drill even less. That's the way. Lovely. Very, very happy with that. It was a nervy moment. I didn't want to say anything, but that bolted straight in there, no problems at all. So now I know the tank mounts exactly in its original position. Let's get the tail on. See if I can find somewhere bolting it down to here. Okay, that's just some fine-tuning adjustment to get it to fit behind the tank, because mounting the tank on its rubbers has lifted it up about probably 10 mil, 8 to 10 mil, something like that. It's lifted it up, which has changed the back profile of the tank very slightly in relation to the seat unit. Should have thought ahead and done that. Yes, I know, but I didn't. So there we are, I just had to adjust it, not a problem, all done. All rescued. So the next thing is under there. I've got to mount something across there, like that one, that will then pick up that front mount behind the tank. So when I put it on, plonk, that contacts that on there, and you just bolt it down, job done. Shouldn't be difficult, should it? Right, ready to glass it in. Orientated correct, facing upright, orientated correct that way, drawn round it, just in case I knock it and it falls off its perch, I can put it straight back on there. Orientated, drawn round it in every plane so that I can put it exactly back where it is. It's just the easiest way to place it. 3 bits of clay, press it down, pick it up, job done. And then when it goes back on, it will go back on in exactly the same place. Awesomeness. And also, interestingly, orientating this flat like that, down here, the other piece that I put in the last video, that's absolutely on the same kind of step plane, so it's nice. Everything's straight, everything's square, and it will mount nicely to the bike. Anyway, let's chat. Let's get the doings. In the interest of keeping this absolutely in its place with no movement at all, I want to leave those tiny little pieces of clay in place, a little trade-off if you like, maybe. But as this is now setting and going off, these 2 layers of tissue on there will set that rock hard. I'm going to leave it to cure, come back, and then once it's nice and durable, I can dab up really hard 4 or 5 more layers of this all over to make it nice and strong. But for now, that's live. As soon as you put the resin on this, it gets in under the clay, it causes it to go slidey, and then this starts to move. I'm just going to leave it there. Let that set in place while it's good. That's it. Right, I'm going to go and have a cup of tea. Come back when this is set. Right, that's it. That's stabilised it now. 2 layers over there, loads of resin. Let that set completely. Now I can really dob in, get all the air out, and get 5 or 6 more layers of this on there, and that'll be it done. Whoa. 97 degrees centigrade. And that's what you call cooking. Right, there we are. Any of you laminators out there know the risk of fire in a laminating workshop. It's extremely dangerous, and that is a perfect proof of it. 97 degrees. That's like boiling water almost. You can feel that heat from there. It's just shimmering off it. But in half an hour's time, that'll be stone cold. I'll be able to put it on the bike. I'm not going to put it anywhere near it yet. Still a bit sticky to touch. But there you go. I know I've got the hardener to resin ratio exactly right, pretty much. And that will make a nice, solid, rock hard mount point for the front of this panel. Really give it that strength that I know it will never crack or split or anything. Superb. And there's nothing more I can do now, so I'm going to have a clear up. Hopefully that will cool down by that time, and I can offer it up to the bike and see if it actually fits. Right, that's it. Okay. Index for that one today. Can't do any more. That's it at this point. I can't even put it on the bike because that bit's sticking out. I brought that fiberglass forward in order to have all the frilliness and rubbish like this out here ready to cut off, and back there where it matters is full thickness, so that when I trim it back to the final panel gap, it'll be about 10mm thick, and I can round it off really nicely, make a nice edge. It needs a panel gap between this and the tank needs to be about 6mm, I reckon, so they don't rub together, because they're both rubber mounted, so it's quite important. So when that gets cut and trimmed, like I said, I can round it, radius the whole thing round it, it'll look really nice, and paint it all over the edge. Just a nice finish. I think fit and finish is really important with any custom vehicle, car or bike. It must be right. A dodgy panel gap stands out a mile, just looks cheap. So there we go, that's it. Nice thick and chunky, ready to cut back. I'll do that in the next one, but for now, the very next thing up is to get the underside of that Delboy. You can see the holes either end. I've got that slot in the middle, just got to open up that slot ready so I can use that again, smooth it off, and then drill through those 2 existing holes right out the top of the panel. And when I come out the top completely, then I'll just enlarge those holes out in the panel to accommodate these little bits of conduit. That's just steel conduit, very super thin, and I'll just push that down inside, a little bit of fiberglass to hold it inside, and then that will form a French tube. The bolt will sit down inside that, so it's completely hidden at the top. Perhaps a little cap on it, or the seat covering over the top, whatever it will be, some way that I'm not sitting on it, it's not rubbing on the inside of my leg, which will be a bit rubbish. So there we go, that's in the next one, get involved with that. It looks nice, there we are, that's level. In relation to, that's level in relation to those, so everything's square. This edge here is a little bit thicker, that's just got to be ground down in the future, but what's most important is it there. There we go, you can see it in that. That's it. Underneath that one and that one, absolutely parallel right the way along, so it will sit nice and square on the bike. Most important, this has been a difficult task. Like I said, there's a little tiny bit of clay under there still left, but it's minimal, absolutely minimal. Nobody in the garden pee, and it was important to keep that absolutely straight. Trying to hook that out would have trashed it. So there we go, that's it for today. I can get stuck in and do that, all that stuff underneath, and trim that back in the next one and start trying to fit that. Once the front's bolted down, then I've got to find some way of bolting the rear down. I need to bring some little steel struts off the structure itself, so that's back into welding on the actual structure, which will be loads of fun. So there we are, join me for the next one. That's lots of fun, and tomorrow I'm going to do some fun and games recycling body filler and a little experiment making body filler out of talcum powder. Yeah, weird, eh? But one of you said it works, so I'm going to see if it does. I'll see you next time.